Hey guys! Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Today is my first YouTube video ever! I am so excited to be making this new YouTube channel because I have just been dreaming about this idea where my passion and excitement for everything that has to do with, you guessed it, books, where I can bring that straight to you because, you know, there are a lot of books out there. I mean, if you can't tell, I kind of like to be surrounded by them. But the problem with that is, how do you know if you have the one that's right for you? So I'm gonna make that my job. Well, who am I? Well, I'm that book lady. Well, which one, you might ask? Well, that book lady. That's what I'm gonna go by because, you know, you might not be able to bring my name to mind, but you can always remember that book lady. And then if you tell your friends, you're like, oh yeah, I watched that book lady on YouTube. And they're like, which one? And you're like, well, that one. So AKA Kimberly here, my job is to bring you the best books that I can find because I'm gonna do all the homework for you. You can just come watch me. So what's gonna be in it for you? I'm gonna be running around having some adventures, doing some fun things in life. I'm gonna invite you to go with me. And then after every single one of them, I'm gonna introduce you to some books that I think you would really, really like. Now, I'm gonna do a couple of picture books, I'm gonna do a couple of middle grade books, and then I'll probably throw in some YA. So you might be asking yourself, okay, well, what's your first adventure then? Because it looks like you're at the library. Well, I am. I mean, the library is the perfect place, the source of inspiration, the place that we come to first, and we think of first when we're looking for a good book. So why not start here? I think a lot of ideas start at the library. So that's what my theme is today. We're talking about ideas that come from amazing books. And I'm going to introduce you to a couple of those here in just a minute. So hold on just a second. Amazing places here in the library, places to sit, places to look for things, places to kind of chill out. So I'm going to show you a couple of those. But along with that, there are so many choices here for books that I might want to take with me. And the cool thing about the library is that you can do that and you don't have to have any money or anything. They just trust you with them. So I'm going to go look for some good books that I think you'll like. So I'll be right back. So welcome to my library, which is of course my school library where I teach. So as you can see, school is out for the summer. Kids are on vacation, on their various adventures, and they are going to be back soon enough to enjoy the wonderful offerings of our library. We love the fact that our librarian keeps everything so nice and organized, everything in its place so that you can find exactly what you're looking for. Check out this adorable seating that our kids are going to have next year. I mean, really, piggy seats, that's the coolest thing ever. Also incentives. I mean, check it out. I'm sure your librarian would offer a couple of prizes for you to receive just because you took the time to read every single day, because that's what it's all about, exploring the world in books. And now it's time for me to find a couple of books that I'm looking for that I want to share with you. So here I go. Woo! I looked all over the place. Did you see that? So I found the perfect books because remember today we're talking about ideas. So I found 3 books that I think you're going to be really interested. Normally in my videos I'll probably have more like 4 or 5, but since today I'm spending a lot of time explaining what I'm here for, I decided to go with my 3 top ones. And I'm going to start with one of my favorite books that I've ever read. I think you will absolutely love it. It is called What Do You Do with an Idea? The author of this is a man named Kobe Yamada. And the interesting thing is, he's a children's book author now, but before that, he actually runs a greeting card company that he started. So I think the coolest thing about this is that he really applied this to his life. What do you do with an idea? This is such a great story because it's about how this little boy gets an idea. How do you show an idea in a picture book? Well, the cool thing is Mr. Yamada shows an idea like a golden egg. That's brilliant. It is kind of like a golden egg. Not like you laid it like a chicken, but like this beautiful thing, and it follows you around and it makes you think about it all the time, and you're kind of scared to share it with people. That's the way it is in here. So when I read this in a couple of minutes, I want you to really think about that. Do I have ideas that I'm scared to share with people? Do I have ideas that I'm really excited about? But sometimes you think, maybe it's not as good as what I think it is, or I'm not sure if I could really follow it up. Oh my goodness, wait till you see what happens with this kiddo. I forgot to tell you that this one is illustrated by May Beeson, and wait till you see these illustrations. Oh my goodness, they're the coolest. My next book is about a girl who really did follow her ideas. This book is called The Most Magnificent Thing by Ashley Spires. Now, Ashley actually wrote and illustrated this book, and as you can see, they're really good darn illustrations. I mean, they're super colorful, and the girl is so cute, and look at her little dog. It's like a little pug or something. Isn't that a pug? This is the most interesting thing about the little girl in this story. She has a great idea, but the problem is she tries to make it work, and it doesn't work at first. So what do you do when you try an idea and it doesn't work? Well, we're gonna find out in just a minute. Hold on. Now, my third choice today is a book called Ivy and Bean, What's the Big Idea? Now, if you've read any Ivy and Bean books, there's quite a big series of them. This is actually number 7. So I'm not showing you the introduction of this series. Ivy and Bean come together because they have to find a great idea for their school science fair. And oh my goodness, it's hilarious. Not only am I going to read you the scene where they're talking about the science fair, but I also want to read you an excerpt from the back because there's a scene with their mother that is absolutely hysterical. So I think you're going to find it really funny. So I'm going to start reading to you. Come on. So our first book is What Do You Do with an Idea? Written by Kobe Yamada. Illustrated by May Beeson. And I absolutely love these illustrations. Like I was saying earlier, you can see how they just jump straight from her drawing pencils onto the page with so much fun action. So y'all enjoy. One day I had an idea. Where did it come from? Why is it here? I wondered. What do you do with an idea? At first, I didn't think much of it. It seemed kind of strange and fragile. I didn't know what to do with it. So I just walked away from it. I acted like it didn't belong to me. But it followed me. You see the little golden egg on his little feet. I worried what others would think. What would people say about my idea? I kept it to myself. I hid it away and didn't talk about it. I tried to act like everything was the same as it was before my idea showed up. But there was something magical about my idea. I had to admit, I felt better and happier when it was around. It wanted food. It wanted to play. Actually, it wanted a lot of attention. Are you noticing how the illustrations are becoming more and more colorful? I think that's so neat. And of course, the egg is growing, isn't it? It grew bigger, and we became friends. I showed it to other people, even though I was afraid of what they would say. I was afraid that if people saw it, they would laugh at it. I was afraid they would think it was silly. And many of them did. They said it was no good. They said it was too weird. They said it was a waste of time and that it would never become anything. And at first, I believed them.
I actually thought about giving up on my idea. I almost listened to them. So hopefully you are now sucked into this adorable book as much as I am, and you're going to want to jump right down to the bottom of this video to get your own copy. Because of copyright infringement, I'm not allowed to read the entire book to you, but I know you want to get your own copy, so we will talk about that at the end of the video. But before we do that, let's move on to our second book that I'm highlighting today, called The Most Magnificent Thing. Once again, written and illustrated by the talented Ashley Spires. And there is that adorable little pug again. So cute. So let's get started about this book, about putting together a great idea. This is a regular girl and her best friend in the whole wide world. They do all kinds of things together. They race, they eat, they explore, they relax. She makes things. He unmakes things. One day, the girl has a wonderful idea. She is going to make the most magnificent thing. She knows just how it will look. She knows just how it will work. And all she has to do is make it. And she makes things all the time. Easy peasy. First, she hires an assistant. Next, they gather their supplies. They set up somewhere out of the way and get to work. That doesn't look quite so out of the way, does it? The girl tinkers and hammers and measures, while her assistant pounces and growls and chews. When she is finished, she steps back to admire her work. She walks around one side, her assistant examines the other side. It doesn't look right. Her assistant picks it up and gives it a shake. Brr. It doesn't feel right either. They are shocked to discover that the thing isn't magnificent or good. It isn't even kind of sort of okay. It is all wrong. The girl tosses it aside and gives it another go. She smooths and wrenches and fiddles. Her assistant circles and tugs and wags. When she is finished, she stands up and takes a long look at it. Her assistant gives it a nudge with his paw. The thing is still wrong. She decides to try again. Isn't that so great that she decides to try again? I love that she does not give up. Once again, I hope you are already sucked into the story the way I was. What a great character to watch as she tries and tries again. And I desperately want to see if she's going to make this thing work and what it is. So let's move on to book number 3.
Now, when I show you picture books, I'm going to show you a little bit more of a close-up. One of the best things about picture books are the amazing illustrations that come with them. Sometimes it's the author that draws them, sometimes it's a separate illustrator, but I always want to highlight that because that's the beautiful thing about picture books. Not only are they telling you, but they're also showing you in beautifully colored illustrations. But when it comes to a chapter book, I kind of like to add some of my quirky personality things into it. I add some voices and kind of get into it a little bit. So this science fair is about global warming, and Ivy and Bean have paired up so that they can come up with a great idea and win the science fair. They thought some more. But everyone already knows about recycling, said Ivy. We're supposed to have a new idea. They thought some more. Bean's dad came into the kitchen. He looked at their thinking faces and sat down at the table next to Bean. What's happening, kidulunks? We need an idea to stop global warming, said Bean. Easy, he said. Get rid of cars. Dad, we're 7. We don't have cars. We need something we can do for a science fair. Oh, said her dad. He leaned against the back of his chair and frowned. For several minutes, it was quiet. Suddenly, he snapped his fingers. Okay, got one. You guys can make posters that remind people to turn out the lights, to save electricity. You could have a slogan like, lights out when you're out. He smiled at them proudly. Isn't that good? Bean and Ivy exchanged looks. Yeah, Dad, said Bean. Great, thanks. Well, he said, I'm gonna go clean out the drains. Okay, said Bean. Ivy and Bean watched as he left the room. Then they looked at each other and shook their heads. That has got to be the most boring idea ever, said Bean. Grown-ups, said Ivy, they don't have very good imaginations. What? Ivy and Bean began thinking again. What if, began Ivy and stopped. She stared at the refrigerator. Ice cubes. Bean looked at the refrigerator too. What about them? Think, how do you cool down a hot thing, asked Ivy. Ice cubes. If we could put ice cubes up in the sky, the air would get colder, right? Right, said Bean. But how are we going to put ice cubes in the sky? Well, in real life, they'd probably have to drop them out of airplanes, but for the science fair, we could just throw them up in the air to show what we mean. Bean slapped her hand on the table. Great idea, and easy too. A minute later, they were running out Bean's back door with all the ice cubes they could find in the freezer. The next minute, they were running back inside to get a thermometer from the bathroom closet. And the minute after that, they both stood on Bean's trampoline holding bowls full of ice cubes. The higher we can throw them, the more they'll cool down the weather, Ivy said, looking at the sky. On your mark, said Bean. Get set, go! Oh my goodness, I have no idea what's gonna happen with Ivy and Bean. Can you even imagine? They're on a trampoline throwing ice cubes at the sky to cure global warming. So we're gonna have to see. But I did want to share this one part in the back with you that I thought was absolutely stinking hilarious. This is a scene between Bean and Ivy and her mom. And you guys pester your parents about the things that you want. And so this is the perfect example, but it totally made me laugh out loud. Fine, said Bean. The real answer was too complicated. What's for snack? Fruit, said Bean's mom. She always said that. Fruit, repeated Bean. We don't want fruit, we want cheese. I don't want to hear about that cheese again, said Bean's mom. Have some fruit. Fruit tastes better with cheese, said Ivy. Especially low-fat Belle de Lune cheese in a special just for you serving size, said Bean. Low-fat Belle de Lune cheese was the stuff inside the red wax. Low-fat Belle de Lune cheese is a special just for you serving size because it costs $5 for 6 little bitty pieces of cheese. So if you want it, you can pay for it yourself, said Bean's mom. She had said this several times before. Cheese is good for you, said Bean. She had said this before too. Cheese is not good for you when it costs $5 for 6 little bitty pieces, said Bean's mom. Well, we'd eat more fruit if we had cheese to eat with it, said Bean. I love fruit and cheese together, said Ivy. There's plenty of cheese in the fridge, said Bean's mom. Not low-fat Belle de Lune cheese in a special just for you serving size, Bean reminded her. I don't want to hear one more word about that cheese, yelled Bean's mom, stomping out of the kitchen. She's so touchy sometimes, said Bean. Ivy lowered her voice. She'd probably be in a better mood if she ate. Ivy glanced at Bean and wiggled her eyebrows. Low-fat Belle de Lune cheese in a special just for you serving size, they whispered together. Aren't they hilarious? I love them. All right, well, that's it. That's my first video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm so glad that you came to join me today. If you liked it, please go ahead and hit the like button because that tells me I'm doing a good job. And if you want to come back for more adventures, please hit the subscriber button. If you really like the books that I read today, which that's what it's all about with That Book Lady anyway, aka Kimberly, bringing in the best book recommendations of things that I read and find and bring to you, then please go to the bottom and there will be links so you can buy your very own copy. It will come right to you and then you can enjoy the rest of these stories that I've started with you today, which I really hope that you do that because that's the best part about this. Please come back and join me next time for more fun and more books with That Book Lady. I will see y'all next time. Thanks. Bye.